Welcome to the first world with the election of President Harris and her going into office with a straight-up Democrat majority, super majority. We can become a first world country. We are a third world country right now until we get these Republicans out of our country and out of power in every place in the country. We need all the Republicans to go so we can be a first world country. And we need to impeach all of these liars that lied to Congress in their to get into the Supreme Court and are committing crimes of bribery. Accepting a bribe is a crime, and no Supreme Court justice should be allowed to accept a bribe. Guess what? Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, all of the Republicans have been accepting bribes. When you're getting stuff over like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and I mean, we're not talking about flowers or dinner here. We're talking about a house, because that's a gift of a house when he's letting her live rent-free. So the rent, that is free at Clarence Thomas' mother's house. His nephew's education is being paid for by Harlan Crow. He's gone on trips. No, it's not just like, we want you to speak and we'll pay for your flight, and we'll pay for for him being a speaker. It's not a job. It's, just come with me, buddy. And then he should be forced to recuse himself because it's a conflict of interest. Yes, everything Harlan Crow has been doing is a conflict of interest, and conflict of interest is an impeachable offense. Many justices in the lower courts, we've even had Supreme Court justices that gave the money back and still stepped down for minute amounts compared to what Clarence Thomas has done. And we need to also arrest Harlan Crow for his illegal bribes of a Supreme Court justice. He committed a crime as well. And yeah, they're all criminals. Both the people who gave all these Supreme Court justices big donations and big stuff need to go to jail immediately. Why is this not, if you have any business before the Supreme Court, and this includes all the everything to do with the Heritage Foundation, so anything to do with Donald Trump, they must recuse. Anybody who's got anything to do with the Heritage Foundation must recuse from everything to do with Donald Trump and everything to do with any of their pet projects. We must have them all impeached. They all lied to Congress for everyone who voted against Roe versus Wade, everyone who voted to overturn Roe versus Wade is no longer allowed to be on the Supreme Court because they committed a crime. It is a crime to lie before Congress. You can, like, say, I can't answer that. You can, like, avoid the question. Although then you wouldn't be appointed if you didn't answer the question properly. But lying, on the other hand, is a crime. And I don't care if you did get into the Supreme Court. Where does it say that they're above the law? They're not. Nobody's above the law. That is directly in the Constitution. So they should all be arrested for criminal activity. And then they should all be put into prison excuse me. They should all be put into prison. We need to put criminals into jail. It is time to round all these criminals up. Donald Trump, and they need to just go to jail. Many of his candidates, she's definitely committed a crime. That is, she didn't recuse herself when she rightfully should, and her collusion with Trump to defraud America. We must start arresting criminals. DOJ, you need to round up all these criminals. The entire Republican Party. You can charge them with piracy. It is a crime against humanity. It is piracy, as established during the trial of Adolf Eichmann. Adolf Eichmann, as in Nazi Germany. That was established during his trial that Nazis are criminals. And there is no jurisdiction. It is global jurisdiction. Everyone has jurisdiction. No matter where the crimes are committed, no matter where the criminal is arrested, nowhere. No borders. It is a crime. The policies the Republicans are putting in there make them Nazis, and as established during the trial of Adolf Eichmann, being a Nazi is a crime. And you are guilty of all the crimes related to being a Nazi. Okay. So all the Republicans that are in any form of power, the deaths of the people that are shot on the streets because of the color of their skin and because of these crazies, these kids in the schools, their deaths can be charged as a crime that the Republicans are guilty of. All these deaths, there were a number of hangings to do with the white supremacy, that were people of color being hung across the nation. They were all because people in the police force were also a party to it and were part of it. They were in collusion with the criminals because it's a systemic issue. The people were declared as suicides, and you need to look at them as murders, and you need to look at them as part of a large systemic issue. People within the police department are also part of a big drug issue. I can tell you a lot about crime and punishment and stuff. This is not conspiracy theory. This is not, it's not theory, it's fact. You can see by looking at things that happened that obviously, like, the person was murdered right in front of a camera, and the camera was just suddenly went off. It wasn't when this person committed suicide, according to the courts, and they're in a southern state, racist area, like systemically and historically. So, because of where and how this person died, there was one in Maryland. Like, black people do not hang themselves, and people don't hang themselves in public. When someone's, especially without a specific note. No note. If you're going to hang yourself, you hang yourself in private, in a place where you're going to be found by someone that you can control. Not public where too many people could see it. And you would leave a note. A suicide without a note, and a suicide by hanging of a person of color. People of color do not hang themselves. In fact, people don't hang themselves anymore. So that is way too suspicious. We need to look at things from the perspective of, these were murders because they were murders. People don't hang themselves. That was a scare tactic for people of color. That was a terrorist attack. There was about a dozen while Trump was in office at the end of his term. They were terrorist attacks. Targeted at communities of people who knew these people. We need to declare all Republicans as terrorists, considering they are committing terrorist acts. We have seen it. It is public knowledge. It is time to take and arrest these criminals. We must have the criminals go to justice. No more just letting it go. They are Nazis, they are terrorists, they are criminals. And the charge is piracy. It is time to arrest these criminals and bring them to justice. There is nowhere for them to hide. Anyone can try. Anyone can arrest them. But this is our responsibility as America, as Americans. These are our criminals. We need to try them because this is our responsibility. Take responsibility for what you, as taking this position, have taken that responsibility onto yourself. Uphold your responsibility and try the Republican Party as a whole. Time to go Friday the 13th. The original Friday the 13th. As in Knights Templar. During, what was it, 1294. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit. The Pope put out a decree that was not to be open till Friday, the 13th of October. On Friday, the 13th of October, they took and opened the scrolls. And that day, everybody that was in the European and the Pope's control, everyone was to open the letters together and arrest all the Knights Templar. We need to do a Friday the 13th style roundup. We cannot give them any forewarning. We must find the right people that will do their duty and round up criminals. We must find loyal people who are loyal to anti-Nazi, anti-fascist, anti-criminal, who are loyal to what America stands for: justice and righteous. Righteous patriotism, real patriotism, not the fake patriotism of the Republicans. They call themselves patriots, but they are going against what America stands for. We are anti-Nazi. We fought during the Second World War against these evils. It is time we got them out of our country. Nazis can no longer have any footing here. We must kick them out and tear out the heart of the evils of the Nazis. The Republicans are Nazis. Their policies are directly from Nazi Germany. Their rhetoric is directly from Nazi Germany. During World War II, anti-union, anti-LGBTQ, and anti-trans laws were enacted in Germany. All the same things that the Republicans are doing. We need to get a trust buster like Teddy Roosevelt, a true American hero. We must have things as American. No more Nazi Germany. No more communist Russia. We must have Americans in power. We must get these Republicans out. They are Nazi. That's why Trump is saying two things that are so opposite: communists and fascists. Because he wants the one thing they have in common: a dictatorship. Evil. Communism, though, were it done right, as the way it was meant to be, the origins of communism and Marxism, there's a lot that is good, but it is the same thing that makes our capitalistic system fail. It is the greed of humans, and that is embodied in the Republican Party. It's greed that ruins it. One of the 7 deadly sins, if you remember. And the Republicans are the embodiment of sin. They are the embodiment of evil. They are the embodiment of everything Christian. True Christians are against. Jesus was a flaming liberal. Let's get the facts straight. You are the Antichrist, the opposite of Christ, if you are conservative. If you're not trying to help your neighbor, feed the hungry, heal the sick, you are the Antichrist. They're trying to harm people. They're trying to end healthcare. That's a harm. They're trying to get rid of things they're good. That is harming people. They want money for themselves. That is the Antichrist right there. The Republican Party, the conservative. That is the Antichrist. These are facts. This is history. This is truth. This is the teachings of God, of the Christian God. I'm a Christian. It's not... a Christian conservative is an oxymoron. They're two opposite things. There is no such thing as a Christian conservative. You cannot be a Christian conservative. You cannot be both. You are the Antichrist if you are conservative. So you can't be Christian. Christian means Christ-like. You are the opposite of Christ-like. So there is no conservative Christians. You are evil if you are conservative. So let's get the facts straight. Whether you are part of an organized Christian religion or not, you are Christian if you are liberal. Because Jesus Christ was liberal. And the word Christian means Christ-like. So, liberal. So, Christian is another word for liberal. And conservative is another word for Antichrist. By definition, by fact, by the root of the word and the meaning, a Christian is anyone who is liberal. The word Christian is a synonym with liberal. And conservative is a synonym of the Antichrist. Let's get these fact straight. The fact is a liberal is a Christian, whether they identify as Christian or not. A conservative is the Antichrist. Just the idea of conservative, the conservative conservatism is the Antichrist. Conservatism is the Antichrist. And liberalism is Christianity. So anyone who is liberal is a Christian. Whether they are as believing Jesus or not, you are Christian because you're liberal. You are Christ-like. Be Christ-like. Be good. It is the good is the liberal. The evil is conservative by nature. And let's make nature of who we are good. Be liberal.